Hello, and welcome to episode number 51 of Modern Art is Rubbish. Are you all right, Tom?
I'm good, thanks, Marcus.
Yeah, well, guess what, people listening to us? I'm not in the same studio as Tom again. Where do you think I am, Tom?
Off the top of my head, I'd guess Colchester.
Yeah, Colchester. Oldest recorded town in England. I've probably mentioned this before. Was it about 2,000 years old?
It's got to be older than that, surely.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Not much, though. Yeah.
Records start getting a bit inconsistent once you get back to 2,000 years, don't they?
Claudius used to live here, apparently.
All right. Who's Claudius?
Emperor Claudius.
Okay.
So today, Tom, I've picked a couple of news items for us to talk about.
Ooh.
Art news, yeah. First thing I do want to mention, though, is we got a nice little write-up from someone called Anum Jamal. She's an artist, writer, and she's a teacher. And she did a nice little write-up about the show in Daily Business News, which is a Pakistan sort of news website. It's really good, actually. I was looking at it the other day.
Well, it sounds great already.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's really interesting because people don't normally talk about Pakistan in context of their art, but it's got a really good, thriving art scene. So I think it's something we're going to need to talk about in future, Tom. Do a Pakistan special.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of interesting arts being made in that country.
Yeah. Great.
Good stuff. Right, on to the first story. Have you ever used a sat-nav, Tom?
Yes.
Yeah, they used to be quite rubbish, didn't they? I remember there was like stories of people ending up in Fords, and Fords as in, not as in the car, but as in Fords, the water.
Yeah, we're on country tracks across fields.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, there is some funny roads on the map in Suffolk that don't actually exist. In the village where I grew up in Essex, there's like country tracks that tractors drive down to get across all the farmland. You see like all farm vehicles going up and down, but on sat-navs they appear as streets. So like when sat-navs came out, you started seeing cars getting stuck there in the mud.
Did you just used to go out and laugh as a hobby?
No.
Oh. So, you're obviously wondering, why am I talking about traffic jams?
Are you talking about traffic jams? I thought you were talking about sat-navs.
Or sat-navs. Yeah.
Sat-navs, yeah.
Yeah, why am I you might be asking, why am I talking about sat-navs?
Why are you talking about sat-navs?
Yeah, well, exactly. There's an artist who has set out to fool Google Maps, and what he did was he realised, this was actually a while ago, he was at a demonstration in Berlin, and he noticed that Google Maps was showing that there was a massive traffic jam on there.
Because of the demonstration, the roads were blocked.
Because of the demonstration, they were showing it, reporting it as a car traffic jam, and it was a demonstration, there was no traffic there, so he worked out that it was actually the phones, that Google was using the phones to work out where traffic jams were. So what he did was, he asked his friends and borrowed some phones, actually about 90 mobile phones in all, and he put it in a little cart, a little sort of like toy cart that you put along behind yourself, and he put 90 phones in this cart and walked round streets of Berlin, and Google effectively were reporting that there were traffic jams in those streets it was walking up and down.
Wow, yeah.
And of course, as a result, that was redirecting traffic. So he was affecting traffic flow just by walking around with his car.
So I guess we encourage everyone at home to do the same.
No, we're not encouraging. Do not cause traffic jams, Tom. Do not do it.
Oh, do not, yeah. Okay. But it's not actually a traffic jam. It's just one man with a car crossing the road. It's not actually going to cause much slowdown.
Well, no, but it redirects the traffic. It's quite an old school way of doing it. I mean, there are other ways you could do it. You could probably do coding and stuff to affect how Google Maps reads it, but he just thought it was like a nice, simple idea that highlights it. The artist, by the way, is a guy called Simon Wecker, and he's German. And you know, by doing this, he's highlighting the fact that technology has an influence on us all. And you think about it as well, technology is supposed to be there to help us. And in fact, in this case, it seems to be more the other way. We're adapting to what technology tells us to do.
Sure.
It's kind of highlighting the issue.
Yeah. So we have like smart motorways in this country, don't we? And then it's supposed to be smart so that they can shut lanes live with cameras on the motorways, whatever. And they're not quite working yet, so there's been a lot of accidents. It's been in the news. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, no. Well,
you have, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. Maybe they should look at fixing potholes first. I actually, as a side note, they held a party in America, I was reading, a party for a pothole, because the authorities hadn't done anything for ages. So they actually held a party for it and had a
anniversary.
Yeah. Gave it a cake and everything to highlight the fact that nothing had been done about it.
Yeah.
It was a nice cake as well. It looks good. Everyone looked happy.
That's nice, yeah.
I expect the pothole was quite pleased.
Did they give the pothole a name?
No, I don't think they did. I didn't go as far as that.
Pole.
What pole?
Pole pothole.
In 300 yards, please turn left. You have reached your destination. On to the last story that I just want to talk about. 2 men have owned up to stealing a Klimt painting. It went missing in 1997 from the Ricci Odi Galleria in Italy. And apparently what they did was they used a fishing rod to hook the work off the wall and then somehow lifted it through a skylight, leaving the frame by the skylight.
Well, that's really old school robbing, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
It's like from an old cartoon or something.
They're not sure how to do it, but that's one of the theories, I think, how they did it. Now, the painting was called A Portrait of a Lady, and it was painted by Klimt. Apparently, this painting, Portrait of a Lady, was painted over another portrait he did called Portrait of a Young Lady. Apparently, Klimt was so upset at her sudden death that he actually painted over the work. Now, this work was actually found 23 years later, and gardeners were, doing their gardening duties outside the museum, and they pulled back some ivy, and they found a metal plate, and behind the metal plate was a bag, and in a cavity in an exterior wall was the painting, and that's how they discovered it.
Been outside the gallery all that time?
Well, there is a theory that it was put there later on, because if it'd been exposed outside to that kind of cold and weather, it wouldn't be in the condition it was. So they think that it may have been stolen, removed and then put back there at some point. Now, the question is, if gardeners found it, why are these guys confessing to the crime?
So the gardeners had already found it and the guys are confessing?
Then the guys have confessed afterwards. Now, these guys were on trial for something else. So, of course, as we've talked about in previous episodes, sometimes paintings get stolen and their whereabouts is left secret, because sometimes in trials people can suddenly reveal the whereabouts of the painting in the hope
and of course we're talking about Italy, which is where we covered this before, wasn't it? So it was with the mafia, wasn't it?
So in the hope of a more lenient sentence, they suddenly say, oh look, we know where this painting is, will you give us less of a sentence if we tell you? Basically, the painting was stolen 20 years ago, so the statute of limitations had gone. So at their trial, they then could confess because they couldn't be tried for that. The problem is that I think their intention was to reveal the location of the painting as well at their trial. But the gardeners got there before them because it was last December it was found.
Oh, okay, yeah. Unfortunately, thanks to those pesky gardeners. If it wasn't for those pesky gardeners, we would have got away with it.
Now, a short advertisement break.
Order in court! Is there anything else the accused would like to say before I pass sentence?
Yes, I do, Your Honour. I'm really sorry for what I've done. But I wonder if you consider giving me a shorter sentence if I perhaps gave you the location of a certain missing turtle art print.
Quite frankly, I've never been so insulted in all my life. I'm going to double your sentence. Everybody knows all you have to do to get a high-quality turtle art print is head over to modernartisrubbish.com, join the mailing list, and you can download it as much as you like. You imbecile!
So just head over to modernartisrubbish.com and subscribe to our email list to get your free artwork and to be updated on the latest Modern Art is Rubbish news. So, Tom, so concludes our little news episode. Anything to add?
No, I don't think so.
No. Well, for you listening at home, please remember to subscribe to our newsletter and head over to modernartisrubbish.com where you can find all details of all our social media accounts. I'm quite into Pinterest at the moment. So it's just byes then, Tom.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Right.